All right, I think we're live. Hey, hi Maverick family. I think we're live. Thank you for your patience. Thank you to Nicole Lyons for that morning meeting question. Hope you've all had a great day. I want to let you know the 10-minute delay was intentional. We just wanted to show how great our technology staff is at fixing our own errors, because that's all they've been doing for the last 3 or 4 weeks is fixing the errors that we've made. So to Aaron Rister, thank you very much, sir. You saved the night for our families. But parents, we are glad that you've joined us. Thank you for taking the time away from your families just for a little while to meet with us. It's not just me tonight. We have Miss Egger and Miss Clifton are here to answer your questions. We've got Nicole Lyons and from District Communication and also a parent on our campus, as well as Karen Britovich, our secretary, on the chat box, and they are taking your questions, and we'll add those in as we go through this. So we're trying to keep this to about 45 minutes, hope to be done about 8:15, and then you can stick around if you have any questions to ask after that. So tonight, what we're gonna go over is our new Google site. We're gonna go through Zoom. We're gonna go through how we're gonna be doing grading for the 4 to 9 weeks. We're gonna talk about lessons. We're gonna go through some resources. Ms. Clifton's got some neat stuff to share with us that can help out at home. Go through some frequently asked questions that you've given us through our family check-in, and then have an open Q&A time. So the most important message that I want to share with you tonight is that the word grace, that's been something that Dr. Westfall has preached to us and encouraged us to make sure that we're giving grace, but we're also receiving that grace, and that we're all trying the best that we can, and that no matter whatever you're doing, that's good enough. And just that you're trying to support our community if you're an essential worker right now, or if you're trying to help your kid at home and just getting a lesson a day done, or if you're just reading a book, that's enough. You're doing your best. Most of the questions and comments tonight are going to come from the family check-in. We had about 90% of those questions we were able to address tonight. The other 10% we felt were very individualized, and we are going to reach out to you individually, Ms. Clifton, Ms. Egger, and myself, and help you solve those problems. So, and again, if you have questions as we go through this, Ms. Nicole Lyons and Ms. Karen Britovich are there to take your questions and add them into our communication. We're going to go, I'm going to screen share with you real quick, and we're going to go look at our new fancy Google site that our teachers made. Bear with me here. There we go. All right. So we talked to some other campuses about how they were supporting their families, and they had created a Google site for their families, and so that parents could easily access information. And so we wanted to do the same for our families and make this as easy as possible. We, when I sat with our technology specialists for each grade level, I challenged them to do 3 clicks or less. So the goal is that once the parents get to this page, that there are 3 clicks or less to access the information. So I am living the parent side of this as well. I've got a 1st grader and a 3rd grader, and they each have amazing teachers. But even with that amazing support, it is still a struggle being a parent teacher at home right now. And we feel you, and so we wanted to make this as easily to use as possible for you. So this site is for you. So to start with, we have our grade levels. Just easily click on our grade levels here, or you can go to the top and click on them. We also have a spot for our co-cur, our specialists and special education. And then coming soon will be a link here for Ms. Clifton, our counselor as well. As you scroll down, after we finish our video tonight, we'll post that right here. So parents who were not able to meet with us can come back and watch this. Or if you need to access this information again, it'll be available for you. We have a link right here that will take you to the district's Corona updates. So if you click on this, it's going to take you to the latest news from Keller ISD, questions you have about district processes for e-learning, technology support, meals, frequently asked questions from the district. That's all available to you right here. So as we talked about how we were using Zoom as a district, so not just a campus, but as a district, we definitely learned a lot the first couple of weeks. So we created a master schedule to make it easier so that there wasn't overlap if you had multiple kids in the same household that were in the elementary grade levels, so that your students could access live time with their teachers. For our staff, it was really important that we had morning meetings. So we retermed that. So I'm gonna walk you through that real quick. So the first thing is live time. So live time is when your teacher may schedule small group learning opportunities for your kids. They may read a book to their class. There are typically about 2-hour blocks for this to happen for each grade level. It does not mean that your child will need to be in that full 2-hour block. It is going to be left up to the teacher to decide what that 2 hours is spent doing, but most likely it'll be in smaller groups so that the teachers can have better communication with your child. And from the emails that went out last night and from what I saw happen today, a lot of those are smaller groups so that it's not the entire class at once. Another time is our office hours. And our office hours are there for you or your child to reach out to the teacher. Say you, we'll talk about this a little more later, but you want more resources or you want some extra help, or you want to check in, did your child learn this concept the right way? That's an opportunity for you to schedule time with your child's teacher via Zoom. You can do one-on-one, or the teacher may choose to do a small group, but the teacher is available for you at that time. And then get together, that is replacing our morning meetings. We know how valuable that is to everyone at IES, including our students, and we wanted to keep those going because we wanted to be that consistent place and relationship for our kids during this break. So we scheduled those on Thursdays. Again, we made sure they did not overlap so that if you had multiple children in your household and you only have one piece of technology, that you could schedule that out through the day. Also, another benefit of that is we have a lot of staff members that have children on campus too. We want them to be able to participate with their kids. So. You'll notice there's also fine arts time here, as well as some PE structured time. We know how much our fine arts teachers mean to our kids and how that really drives their passions, and how Mr. Maverick Strong all day long, Coach Leach, loves reaching out to kids. So we scheduled some intentional time here for him to do PE with kids. And then, of course, Miss George needs her time with our Mavs too. She misses them so much. So we're actually going to be filling some of this lunch space with some story time. And I'll show you that schedule here in a little bit too. Just some updates on Zoom. We've heard a lot of security issues from, really across the business world and education about the different things that are going on with people jumping into Zoom. So just some security measures have been added. I think you got an email from Dr. Westfall last night that every Zoom meeting has a password. We're not posting those meeting IDs publicly, and they are not being recorded. Along those lines, we also noticed that maybe our integrity was struggling a little bit with some of our students in those classroom meetings. So we created we took our Maverick Pride, what all of our students know. We added some specific things for them to be aware of as they're in Zoom meetings. Shout out to Peyton Lyons, who came up with pick it and stick, so that you have one space and you stick to it during your Zoom meeting. It's really hard when you're moving around a lot for other students to listen. So hopefully those helped out with our classes that met today. And then if you're having any trouble with Zoom on your computer or Chromebook or on the iPad, there's some information here to help you out with that. Okay, I know grading has been a big question. We got a lot of questions from our parents in our family check-in, and rightfully so. I know everybody wants to make sure that their kids pass this 9 weeks. And so I'm not going to read this to you. It's there if you haven't read it already. But I wanted to clarify a couple of things. So our K1 parents, if you have a child in K1, we are not getting rid of standards-based report card. What we are going to do is we're going to auto load a 2 for every new standard that was to be assessed this 9 weeks. So everybody will get a 2 automatically. Anything that you had already been scored on or rated on the first 3 9 weeks will just carry forward. So if your child had a 3 or 4 in number sense, that's going to carry forward. If they had a 3 or 4 in reading comprehension, that's going to carry forward. Our intent is not to fail anybody. So please don't worry about your child not moving to the next grade or getting a 1 on anything. It will be at least a 2 in every area. Our 2nd through 4th grades, pass fail is going to be denoted by 100 in the grade book or a 69. Again, we're not failing anybody. We're not retaining anybody. All of our Mavericks are going to move on. When we look at this definition of student participation, we have reached out, we have been in contact with 100% of you already, and we will continue to reach out to you. This is not going to be an issue, so I don't want that to be a stressor for any family on our campus. Just take that off your plate. Your kid is going to pass this 9 weeks. Again, advancing grade levels, we're promoting all students. I know there's a lot of concerns out there about read this real quick. We had a question come in. Are we doing enough with the assignments provided so that our children are prepared for the next grade level? So that is a question that your teachers are struggling with, I'm struggling with, district is struggling with. We're all trying to get our students ready for the next grade level. The learning that has been shared this week has been only new content, so it's stuff that they need to know moving into next year. We'll get into that a little bit more when we get into the lessons here. There was a question, are the assignments, are children completing being graded? And then on top of that, how frequently is feedback being provided? Is it possible for the teacher to let me know how my son's work did? How my son did with his work? While we would love to provide feedback on all the student work, it's not something that I want to promise you is going to be happening. One, we don't want you to think that we have changed our grading practices because we're not grading anything. Two, we don't want you to think that there's an expectation that you have to turn in work. This is all an opportunity. So a lot of the things that your child is going to be turning in, there's going to be a receptive message from the teacher. If it's turned in on Seesaw, they may like it or they may comment on it. When it comes to true academic feedback, that's not something that we're going to be working through this 9 weeks. All right. Next thing I wanted to go over with you was about lessons. And this is an email that you had received from Keller ISD a couple weeks ago when we started switching to this method. I want to clarify something. And hopefully you can remember this formula with me. It's not going to make a lot of sense, but remember that 5 times 1 equals 7. You have 5 core contents with 1 hour lessons each that are to be completed within 7 days. So you have 1 lesson for English language arts, 1 for math, 1 for science, 1 for social studies, and 1 for fine arts. They're not going to exceed an hour, and you have a full week to complete this. There are going to be other activities that our teachers suggest, like reading a book or writing a story or practicing reading skills, or even Coach Leach is encouraging students to get out and move. By all means, please do that. We hope that that's just a normal routine with our Mavericks, but we wanted to make it manageable for our families in terms of what they could actually accomplish. And especially as we talk about the new content that is being presented to them is a little bit harder to grasp. And so we wanted to make sure that it was focused just on the new content that they were getting. A question had come in about a clear understanding of how to turn in assignments. That is up to your child's teacher. We wanted to keep things as consistent as possible for how students utilized the work that they were, or how they were turning in the work that they were doing. Some of our teachers consistently use Seesaw, and your students are used to that. Some of them use Google Classroom, and they're used to that. So I really left it up to our staff to determine how they wanted to collect that information. So that will be between you and your child's teacher on how to turn it in. There were a lot of questions that came in. I'm going to go off the share for this. So I'm going to go live for this part. There are a lot of questions that came in regarding how how much was too much. Let's pull my notes here. So I'll ask some really good questions here. So clear understanding of using paper pencil versus technology, or are we giving enough information or giving too much information? Remember that our goal when we moved to this e-learning platform was to simplify the core content as much as possible for our students. We wanted it to be organized. We wanted it to be efficient. We wanted it to be accessible for our students and for parents. If that is too much for you, by all means, remember that word grace. If it's too much, or parents, if you're working nights and you're not home with your kids during the weekday and you need to do learning on the weekend, or maybe you just need to say, as a family right now, we're not going to do that because that's what our needs are. That is your choice, and we respect that. Some families are saying that this is not enough work. We need more work. We need higher engaging work. We need more rigor. For those parents, I would ask you to use that office time that our teachers are available. Meet one-on-one with your child's teacher. Get those resources. They're available. We just don't want to push them out because we don't want you to think that there's more expected of you than there already is. So it's not that we want to not give enough or that we're trying to give too little. We just want to make sure that it's the right amount for everyone. So I hope that helps. Again, if you have questions, if you need more work, reach out to your child's teacher and they can help you with that. And if you feel like this work is too much for your family, that's your choice and we respect that. A couple of things when we talk about doing these lessons at home, we've gotten some requests for supplies from families. I will tell you, if you have a writing utensil, you have something to write on, paper, journal, dry erase board, you have technology, whether it's a Chromebook or a tablet, and you have headphones, those are the 4 items you need right now to get through learning. So if you need writing utensils, or you need paper, if you need a Chromebook, or if you need headphones, reach out to us and we'll see what we can do for you. I know the Chromebook is something we can easily get you hooked up with, but those are the 4 main things you need to get through learning right now. I know our teachers have done a good job at trying to reduce the amount of learning this week that said print this, or if it does say print this, try it this way instead. Go to Seesaw and try it on there, or find something in your home and use this. We're also trying to reduce the amount of you feeling like you need to print everything as well. Question came in: if I'm maintaining a good level of math, reading, and writing at home, do I have to follow all the teacher's lesson plans? So that's a great question. If you feel like what you're doing at home is great for your kid right now, do you need to follow teacher's lesson plans? Here's what I'll tell you. Again, the learning that your teacher has designed is stuff that they would be teaching in the classroom right now, which means it's new content. These are new things to your child, things that they need for the next grade level. We don't expect them to master it right now, but getting them exposed to it right now is really critical. So what I would ask is, if you're already doing stuff at home, please let your stuff be supplemental and let your teacher's work be the primary work. Is e-learning mandatory? Again, not necessarily mandatory, but suggested. If you feel like it's too much for your family, we understand. But we would like our maths to do the 5 one-hour lessons a week. You feel that although they are currently simplified to suit students that can do only the minimum, that there's a way for teachers to add related work daily for kids that can do more. Again, if you feel like this is not enough work for your family, reach out to your child's teacher, schedule that conference, and they can provide you with those resources for more work. All right. All right, we're going to go back to our campus site. I'm just going to walk you through a couple of lessons real quick. I skipped over that. Yeah. Let me share again. All right. So if you hadn't had a chance to access the e-learning, it's very simple. On our homepage, you can click on your child's grade level at the top or down here. So we're going to click on first. You'll notice that every page has a little welcome letter, some suggestions for technology help, and a list of digital resources. And then at IES, we are all following a suggested district e-learning plan that follows the same process to keep it consistent for all students and all families across the campus. I know a couple of families have reached out and said, we really preferred how we were getting our information. We'll talk through that with our teachers this week. What we wanted to do, and based on the feedback that we had gotten from families so far, was that we needed something that was consistent and reliable, and again, efficient for families to use. So we moved to this document to help it flow a little bit better. Again, using the 3-click expectation, you'll notice that your links that are in your e-learning plan go directly to the website and to that content, and will not require more of you to do that. I can watch Tim and Moby. We tried to be consistent and not do more than 5 activities within that hour. We felt like that was a manageable amount of time for your students to do work. My daughter's in 1st grade, and so this morning, that's what we did. We worked on measurement, and she chose to do 3 of her 5 activities for the week in math, and chose to do her reading tomorrow because that works for her and that works for our family. Again, this is for you to work at your own pace, whatever best for your child, whatever is best for your family. And then it should not take more than 60 minutes to complete. So I wanted to address a concern that I've gotten from several families where the families have talked about, it's a struggle just to get my child to sit down and do their work. It's a struggle to get my child to focus. Again, I'm right there with you. It's a struggle in the Basham household as well. And more for my 1st grader than my 3rd grader. What you may have noticed is that our older students are a little more adept to using Google Classroom or using Seesaw and are ready to be intrinsically motivated to get this accomplished. When you look at a kindergartner and a 1st grader and a 2nd grader, and you look at their motivation why they come to school, most of them come to school to please their teacher. They are teacher pleasers. We love them. That's so easy to work with when all they want to do is please the teacher. But it's a struggle when you're the new teacher at home and you're trying to get them to focus or do their work. And we understand that. So I wanted to introduce you to a term that, a lot of, I know Ms. Clifton knows this real well, and Ms. Egger knows this really well, and our teachers know it really well, but it's called token economy. And so in a token economy, it's when our students struggle with behavior or they struggle with that intrinsic motivation. And so if you're having a hard time with your child's learning, I would encourage you, and I'll post this on our site, you can just Google the term token economy and look for any resources. There's probably not going to be a bad one out there. Look on this. So this is a link, but it's how to create a token economy system to improve your child's behavior. And we're not saying that your child not wanting to work necessarily is a bad behavior right now. It's just that they don't have that motivation. But creating a token economy at home is simple and easy, and I'm sure you're already doing it in some form or fashion. Essentially, what you want to do is you want to identify what is the struggle, what will my child not do, what do you want them to do, what is something that would motivate them to get that done, and then how can I give them something physically when they complete a task where they feel that reward. So I'm not going to go through all the steps here on this suggested link, but I do encourage you that if you're struggling with that new teacher role that you've been placed into, that take a look at token economy systems, look at what motivates your child to get their work done, what's something that you could give them that's tangible to keep track of. It's not tangible in that like you're giving them a quarter and hey, you're going to earn $5. It's, I'm going to give you 100 pennies. And when you get 10 pennies, you're going to get to choose your 30-minute free time activity, or you're going to get 30 minutes on mom's iPad, or you're going to get 30 minutes to watch your favorite cartoon. But bring that token economy philosophy into your household if that's what you need help with helping your child focus. Ms. Clifton or Ms. Egger, do you want to add anything to that?
One thing that you can also do to really help with behaviors at home right now is check out the Love and Logic website. There are lots of tips there that are helpful to figure out what to do to motivate children and just to work on different behaviors that you're seeing, whether that's throwing a temper tantrum and not wanting to do their work at that time. They do offer a free online training right now that usually is kind of expensive. I do believe it does require you to put your credit card number in order to get access. However, they are not charging your credit card right now for that. But there are some great tools and videos on their website to help as well.
That's great. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our campus site one more time because I don't want to leave this important piece out. Okay, so as I said, we are a whole child campus, and we want to make sure that our Mavs are getting their fine arts learning and their reading in too. So our co-cur team each has a little internal site here. We got Coach Leach. Let's see what he's got going on this week. Maverick Strong all day long. There we go. He's got his Zoom meetings linked here. You can email him information so you can get the password to join. He's got some challenges for you for the week. I know these are really helpful when you're looking for recess activities for your children. We do want non-structured recess as much as possible, letting them choose their own thing. But if you need that structured activity, put the computer in front of them, let them do their activities with Coach Leach. And then our incredible fine arts teachers, they've got links and lessons here for you. They've got their Zoom meeting links here as well. I think it was Miss Varney had met with, she did a one-on-one meeting with an artist and posted it on here. Yeah, with this cartoonist. So I know these little fun things are what are also motivating our students. So please take advantage of what our co-cur staff is posting in here. Miss Timms has got her site. Let's get that. And then Miss George, of course, we had several parents ask for, they needed more reading resources, credible links here for you to use. Miss George's got more links down here for you. She's a wealth of knowledge for anything reading, and even instructional technology. If you need some support with that, reach out to her. I know she'd love to help you right now. We're going to spend the rest of our time just answering some common questions as well as taking questions that come in from our chat. So one of the questions that had come up was, and I'm hoping that we solved this, but my child was being asked to, or we were asked to use sites, and it's asking me to log in and pay. We don't want you paying for anything. We don't want you signing up for any gimmicks. So if, I think our teachers have done a good job of removing any of those sites, but if you're asked to create a login for anything, please don't. We have plenty of instructional resources available. You don't need to do that. And your teachers have the passwords and login links for all of those. Will we have access to IXL and other material throughout the summer? Yes. Our IXL, we pay for that every year, and you'll have access to that throughout the summer. So that will not go away. That'll be a great resource for you to build into your family routines during the summer, especially as we gear up for the next grade levels. In addition, when do Chromebooks need to be returned? More information will be coming out for the Chromebooks as we find out that information in the next coming weeks. That will be a district decision, and we will make sure that we will communicate that out to you when we have that. The IXL for third, let me clarify with the IXL, third and fourth grade, we pay for IXL for third and fourth grade. I'm not sure about the K2 because it was, we haven't had to pay for that right now during this COVID time. So we will get back to you on that one. And then I'm going to let Ms. Clifton speak for a few minutes before we answer any more questions.
Hi, Mavericks. I'm so glad to see you. One of the things that we are rolling out that you will find on your e-learning website is there will be a counselors tab. And so there are some lessons that you will be able to do involving counseling topics such as self-regulation, keeping positive, having a positive attitude, keeping motivated, calming your worries, managing your emotions. Some of these activities will be designed so that you can do them individually and not have to have a parent helping you. Also, parents, if you are needing additional resources, you can check under the COVID-19 district tab, and there are counseling resources available as well. Some of the resources that might be available that could be helpful for you are there are food services available, there's community storehouse, there's also a variety of topics such as anxiety, depression, what to do with some of those issues. A few things that I would suggest that you do during this time to relieve some of that anxiety is to make sure that you are getting into a routine. If you can schedule a routine with your children and they know what to expect throughout the day, they're going to be able to cooperate a little bit more, and they can be able to predict a little bit more of what their day is going to be like. Second of all, make sure that you're getting outside. I know that Coach Leach is challenging you all in many ways, so that is very important for your mental health. Also, make sure that you find things that you're grateful for. I know that we really stress gratitude during the month of November. However, that is a great way to make sure that you are keeping that through all seasons of your life, because when we are looking for the things that we're grateful for, that is actually changing your brain waves and helping you look for the positive. And then last of all, I would just say, make sure that you turn off the news for your kids. In order to help them through this difficult time, help them have the least amount of exposure as you can. So we want everybody to be safe, and we want everybody to make sure that they're taking care of mental health as well as their physical health during this time. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns that I can assist you with. You can find my email address on our campus page.
Thank you, Ms. Clifton. All right, guys, we're going to cover some more frequently frequently asked questions, and then take a few more from the chat box, and then wrap this up. I won't keep you too long. I know bedtime is coming. All right. First question, what is the duration of the extended break, and what is the plan going forward in regards to returning to school, extending the school year, and what changes for next year? So a couple of things. We don't know when we're coming back. The county health commissioner, I think that's their term, we're out there April 30th right now. We'll see how that goes. I did see something on the news last night that was promising that maybe we were hitting that curve. So who knows? We don't have any promises right now. I can guarantee you that we are not extending the school year. I think May 19th is our last day, and May 19th is still our last day. Let me make sure I got that right. May 21st. May 21st is a half day, early release, and that is our last day of school for the year. So school is going to be over May 21st regardless. Questions have been asked about summer school, about tutoring over the summer, about preparing the curriculum while we're gone. Those are all fantastic questions and things that, we're working on behind the scenes, but I can't promise anything right now. We're trying to take the bigger priorities right now and handle those. I know that summer learning is going to be on everyone's mind and making sure everybody's ready for next school year. What I would imagine is going to happen is that our fantastic content coordinators of the district are going to write a scope and sequence for next year that includes a revision of what was missed this last 10 weeks, and we're going to do our best to get through it. If we do not return to school this spring, will there be a way to get our child's things from their classrooms? Anything that has to do with accessing the campus right now, I cannot give you an answer. Those are things that I would love to be at campus right now and accessing a few resources, but right now our campuses are closed, and until we become more social as a community, I don't have an answer for you. But again, we're not going to extend the school year, and we are off this Friday for it was a planned bad weather makeup day. We're not going to make it up. So just so you know, your teacher is off this Friday, and you are too, since you're the new teacher. Summer learning, I think I answered that. We are going to do our best to get our maths caught up, whether it's over the summer or first of next year. All right, school supplies. Will we be able to order school supplies? Yes. Ms. Karen, our secretary, and Ms. Heidi, our office aide, and PTA are working with EPI right now, and we will hopefully get our supplies ordered out, get that finalized soon, and get that information out to you. This is a big one. Missed events, primarily all those wonderful fourth grade events. Oh my gosh, fourth graders and fourth grade families, I feel for you right now. So when we talk about things like play day, TMI tours, things that we expect will be happening next couple weeks that aren't, I don't foresee that those are going to get rescheduled. I know play days, there's no way that we could get that in by the time we got back. The TMI tour, I know Miss Mackey really loves that opportunity for our families, but I cannot promise that opportunity is going to be available anytime soon. Again, it all depends on when we're social again. Things like end of year party, getting your yearbooks, fourth grade graduation. We will prioritize all of our events that we missed or that are still on the calendar once we get a definitive date to get back. Right now, we feel like it's a little premature to be spending a lot of effort planning those times when we know for sure we're not going to get them. I know the district worked very diligently with the new Dickies Arena to make sure that they have a graduation time if it's available later in the summer, because that's such a monumental moment in a child's education career. But everything at the elementary level, we will just take that when we get a return date and see what we can still get in. Kinder Roundup. Kinder Roundup is going to be coming soon. It's going to be all online. So parents, get ready to learn how to use your phone as a scanner because you're going to be taking pictures and scanning birth certificates and water bills and submitting those online, and more information will be coming. And then a couple of things that come up about just family needs, the need that, you know, the families, we're essential workers. We don't really have time to teach our kids during the day, or, you know, we're doing the best we can. And again, I just want to let you know that our hearts go out to you. We appreciate you, everything you're doing for our community, and you're in our thoughts and prayers every night. And so whatever you're doing is good enough. So just remember that. And that some questions that come in about communication and the amount of emails, we are trying to reduce those. I know it may not feel like it, but when we're getting pertinent information, we've got to get that out to you as soon as possible. I know yesterday I sent you an update. If you had one teacher, you got one email. If you're at the middle school or high school level, you may have gotten 7 of them. And then you got emails from Dr. Westfall about Zoom. Our intent is not to overwhelm you. We're trying to just give you the pertinent information as we get it. A question came in about Kinder Camp. Okay, so Kinder Camp is on the calendar. We'll see what happens with when we're allowed to come back, but it is on the calendar for the end of July. So as you're doing Kinder Roundup, those dates will be communicated with you. All right, let's check with my team real quick. Any more questions coming in? Ms. Egger, Ms. Clifton, did y'all want to add anything?
I just want to tell our parents that they are doing a great job. And so to make sure that you give yourself some grace, because we understand that right now is a very stressful time and you have a lot going on. So we've thrown a lot at you all at once. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself and that you're doing a great job. So give yourself that grace.
Ms. Egger, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to piggyback on what Ms. Clifton said. Many of you may know I am a mom of 4, so I am going through this right along with you guys. And I've had many conversations with primarily moms, but some grandmas and stuff too, just feeling like you're not enough. And I want you to know you are. Like, if nothing else, read with your child. Read with your child. Make those bonds, do the social side, and we can get the academics caught back up. The big thing is minimizing your anxiety at this time and working on, you know, taking care of your household. And once you do that, then if you can add some little things in, great. But I also want to encourage you, when you're feeling that way and feeling overwhelmed, reach out to your teacher, reach out to one of us. I am happy to talk and listen and offer suggestions. And my kids can tell you about Saturday school in the Edgar household. But we're right there in the trenches with you and we understand. So just reach out and let us know where we can support.
Thank y'all. So I was trying to end, this was one of the notes that we gotten from a parent. It says, I will be a better, more involved mom beginning next week. I was extremely busy and didn't help either of my kids with any of their work. I think things will slow down and I will be better about helping my own kids. I promise. Again, I'm going to start with I'm going to end with the word I started with, and that's grace. Hey, you're doing good enough. You're doing a great job, mom, dad, older sibling, uncle, grandma, whoever out there is providing the instruction for these kids and take care of their day-to-day needs and making sure they have food and shelter, number one. You're doing a fantastic job. We appreciate y'all, and if y'all need anything, we're here. You've got I know there's just 3 of us on this chat tonight, but we've got an army of staff ready to serve your needs and help out. So thank y'all. It's good, I guess, talking to you. Please give my Mads a fist bump for me. I miss him so much. Bye, guys.